Talk to y'all for a minute about the power of perception. You see, there's a lot that goes in to being a hot social media content provider. For instance, y'all think I got time to go on vacation? No. I got social to do. Come on, man, this is blue screen. In fact, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I haven't looked like this good in years. I've been totally computer generated since like the 90s.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Glad you guys tuned back into the channel today. If you guys are brand new to the channel, if you guys don't know what we do, let me talk about it. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's, like I said, tuning into the channel, watching the video entirely, commenting on the video, man. It helps push us in the algorithm, man, and help pushing that thumbs up button, man. Really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, Seekers. Let's do what we do best, man. Say it with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
Signs that you or your friends are serial killers. Number 1, antisocial behavior. Number 2, setting things on fire. It doesn't have to be houses. Number 3, torturing animals. Number 4, having a troubled family history and substance abuse. Number 5, they're pretty smart but cannot keep a job. Do you know anyone that could be a serial killer?
Here's some of the most random fun facts you will ever hear in your life. Armadillo shells are actually bulletproof. One time a man was hospitalized when he shot at an armadillo and the bullet ricocheted off the shell and hit him instead. There's only one letter in the entire alphabet that isn't in any US state name, and that letter is Q. There's not a single state with the letter Q in its name.
Really?
71% of the earth is covered in water, and humans can only use 0.007% of that water. 2.5% of the total water is fresh water, and only 1% of that is actually accessible. The bumblebee bat is the smallest mammal in the entire world. These things can rest on your fingertips and you might not even know because they weigh 0.05 to 0.07 ounces. Ostriches are the world's largest and heaviest living bird. That's why they can't fly, but they are built for running, and they can reach speeds of up to 43 miles per hour, and they can pretty easily coast at 30 miles per hour. The longest English word is 189,819,000 letters long. It's a protein and its nickname is titin, and it would take around 3.5 hours to say the word out loud.
The hell?
People who gained real-life superpowers after an accident. Jason Padgett was a party animal who hated school and got terrible grades. But one day, 2 men savagely robbed and attacked Jason outside of a karaoke bar, leaving him with a severe concussion. The concussion caused him to become a mathematical genius and made him learn fractal geometry, which he had never been taught before. When Derek Amato was 39 years old, he hit his head after diving into a swimming pool and was diagnosed with a concussion and 35% hearing loss. After that, Derek began to see black and white keys in his head, and out of nowhere, he began to play the piano like an expert. Ben McMahon was in a car accident in 2015 and fell into a coma for a week. When he woke up, he could speak perfect Chinese even though he had only learned the basics as a child. Tony Cicerio was struck by lightning after making a call in a phone booth. Within a couple days, he was addicted to music, which he wasn't before. After trying the piano, he became a musical artist, composing his own music.
This mother hits the...
Man, what is up, man? These freak accidents, bro. Like, it really sounded like something out of a comic book, man. You know, something traumatic happens to them. They wake up with new abilities or powers or something like that. Can't believe those stories, man. Are real. We'll have to check them out, see if we can find any more.
Sticky notes in her daughter's sock to be saved from captivity. This 28-year-old mother and 2 kids, a 7-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son, Mason Dominguez, were held captive by a man named Brandon Tusland. This all started in January 2021 when the father of the 2 kids, Eli Dominguez, passed away from pneumonia. The mother was happily married to Eli, but since his death, she began to struggle financially. That's when Eli's former friend, Brandon, offered to support her and her 2 kids. In March 2021, the mother and 2 kids moved into Brandon's home, and that's when he became controlling and abusive. He alienated her from her family, made her quit her job, and confiscated her phone. He put locks on the bedroom doorknobs, installed motion sensors, and duct taped her to the bed. She was also handcuffed when she rode in the car with him. But one day, the mother spotted a sticky notepad and a pen in his car, and that's when she began a weeks-long plan to seek help. The mother found the perfect chance to put a sticky note in her daughter's sock, and on February 22nd at 8:40 a.m., the 7-year-old girl went to school and gave the sticky note to her teacher. The note said that her mother was being held against her will and she needed help right away. School officials notified authorities and Brandon was arrested right away. But it doesn't end there. This is when things get super disturbing. Brandon kept her kids away from her most of the time, and especially when she was locked up. And she actually had not seen her 4-year-old son, Mason Dominguez, since December 11th. And she suspected he was dead. When the mother lost full contact with her son, she knew she had to find a way out to save her and her daughter. When police searched his house, they found the remains of 4-year-old Mason Dominguez in his freezer in his garage.
Just a dark case seekers, man. She was smart.
Attached to your phobia. Thalassophobia.
Level 1. It's good. I'm still good right now. It's kind of scary. Could you imagine being out there? Yeah, I can't do that. Damn.
These toy designers messed up big time. I'm pretty sure there was a better spot to put this straw on Buzz Lightyear. Come on. And I've never seen a duck with 4 legs before. Have you? I poop glitter. But why is this even a toy? And why this designer made Harry Potter blue? I'll never understand. And this looks like a normal cute horse, right? Well, it actually has a Barbie head as the tail. I'm a sweet baby. Let's have fun together. Yeah, you don't look too sweet. And
What
I think
the
there's
hell?
something up with this Woody doll. And I'm not sure what's going on with this baby's eye.
What the hell is wrong with those toy designers, man? They weren't thinking.
Here are some of the rarest human mutations that actually exist. Firstly, every 1 in 1,000 people have a perfect 10 face, meaning that all of their features fit perfectly within these lines. Now, every 1 in 107 people experience something called mirror touch. It's where you feel the sensation of touch in the same or opposite body part when you see somebody else being touched. Now, 4% of people have something known as sweaty palm syndrome. I'm sure you can guess what that is. It's where your palms sweat when you're not even being active. And the rarest mutation is werewolf syndrome. This is where you have excessive hair growth all over your body. And only 50 people worldwide have this.
This is Tragedy by the Sea.
Werewolf syndrome. Interesting.
Photos of all time. Okay, so first glance at this photo, you just think it's a couple arguing at the beach, right? But believe it or not, this photo might have the most unsettling and disturbing backstory ever. On the morning of April 2nd, 1954, Los Angeles Times photographer named John Gaunt, who was pictured in the middle of this photo, was relaxing on his front yard of his beachfront house when he heard a neighbor shout, "Something's happening on the beach." He then instinctively grabbed his camera and rushed over to see the horrified couple clutching each other on the beach. On the shore stood a young couple named Mr. and Mrs. McDonald, and their body language made John's stomach turn. He realized that someone must be lost, and he then took a photograph from 200 yards away. Only then did he learn that just moments before, the couple's 19-month-old son Michael, who had been playing in the yard, had wandered down to the beach and crawled into the violent waters while they weren't looking.
Man.
Despite the back and forth efforts by the parents, there was nothing they can do but just wait. Unfortunately, later that day, the child's dead body was washed up about a mile away on the beach. And this photo, titled "Tragedy by the Sea," appeared on the front page of the Times the very next day. John Gaunt then won the 1955 Pulitzer Prize Award, calling the photo poignant and profoundly moving. But he also received heavy criticism for capitalizing on the family's tragedy for his photo opportunity. But now take a look at this photo, knowing everything you do, and tell me it's not one of the saddest and most disturbing photos ever.
The darkest
It is.
conspiracy theories.
The Teletubbies theory. The theory says that the show is inspired by historic events that happened in a Bulgarian mental facility. Each Teletubby is inspired by a kid that was experimented on. Lola was based on a child who had facial disfigurement and had to smile all the time. Tinky Winky was based on a deaf child who was tied to a fence outside and suffered frostbite. Gypsy was inspired by a child who was constantly sick and ended up lying in his own puke. And Poe was based on a child who fell into fire, which is recognizable by his color is red.
This 14-year-old boy
Adds up.
his 83-year-old neighbor. Viewers' discretion is strongly advised. On August 29th of 2018, 14-year-old Tyrone Harvin told his 83-year-old neighbor, Dorothy Mae Neal, that he would help her with some chores inside of her apartment. Before walking into her apartment, he made sure to grab a handful of condoms. Tyrone did help Dorothy with some chores before attacking her with a lamp. After that, Tyrone S.A.'d her, he fled her apartment, and he left her seriously injured on the floor and naked. Neighbors had asked police to do a welfare check on Dorothy since they hadn't seen her around for a couple of days. When officers showed up at her apartment, they noticed dried blood on her doorknob, and that's when they saw Dorothy lying naked on the floor. She was then taken to the University of Maryland Hospital Trauma Unit and unfortunately passed away that next day. When officers were at Dorothy's home, they noticed that there was several condom wrappers around her body as well as used condoms. A broken, bloodied lamp was also found by officers. Dorothy's autopsy revealed that she suffered extensive trauma to her head and genitals. There was DNA on Dorothy's body and in those condoms, and that DNA matched up to Tyrone. Despite all of the evidence, Tyrone's mom stood by his side and truly believed that he would never do something like this. On
Never
June
know.
29th of 2022, Tyrone was convicted on first-degree murder, first-degree SA, and use of a deadly weapon. Tyrone was also sentenced to life in prison.
Oh no.
Whole life over. There you
No,
go.
no, 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 silly. To dry it. But it exploded. And they were both found dead.
Here's some
Sounds like
random
an edit.
things we all did as kids. Who remembers pouring glue all over their hand and peeling it off? How satisfying was that?
I
And we
remember that.
definitely have all gotten our fingers stuck in one of these at least one time. Who
True.
remembers feeling like the coolest kid with a pencil this small? And we all ran our fingers along these grooves at school. Admit it, we all stabbed our eraser with our pencil like this. And we definitely all unraveled the design of these pencils. And we all dove to the bottom of the pool to pick up these rings. Who remembers using these blocks in school? And we definitely all tried pushing down all of the colors at one time.
Did any of you guys do that, Seekers, in school?
AI
I
art is
remember
not
that.
something that's terribly new, but have you heard about the woman that is haunting AI pictures? This is the face, and nobody can explain why she keeps showing up in AI images. If you look at her, she's not really general. I mean, there are specific characteristics here that are consistent. Again, nobody knows which prompts are generating this woman. Nobody knows why her face continues to appear in different models. So this has opened up one of my favorite questions about the idea that AI pictures can be haunted. And don't forget, if things like this are of interest to you, make sure to go check out the podcast.
War generals really to study.
Wow.
The Coyote managed to finesse its two biggest enemies, and all they had to do was wait and play the long game. So once upon a time, humanity saw this canyon puppy and decided it was on site ever since. America started murking coyotes like they were made out of oil. Mark Twain hated it so much, he wrote a 3-page MLA format essay on why coyotes deserve nothing. If you thought Kendrick hated Drake, that is nothing on the abhorrence this man had for a travel-sized wolf. So much that it literally inspired a pain magnet of a Looney Tune. Now here's the first problem of beefing with coyotes. Coyotes are basically canine cockroaches. The harder you try to murk them, the harder they work to birth them. Apparently they even have this roll call where a female will call out and all the coyotes in an area will answer. And if she doesn't hear a lot of yotes back, it'll actually trigger her body to make more pups. Now op number 2, wolves don't mess with coyotes at all. Like to a homicidal level. To the point where wolves will hard bully coyotes in the same area. Now here's where the get back happened. While we were out here spam killing coyotes, we were also at war with wolves. Except getting generationally stepped on by wolves made coyotes that much more adaptable. So while the big bad wolf was getting smoked, coyotes were out here hero-stepping extinction. And when wolves got packed up in the US for coyotes, it was free real estate. So not only did we accidentally become coyote allies, the wolf dating pool got so low, eventually they started doing the unspeakable with the ops to survive, leading to the coy wolf. It's exactly what it sounds like. Remember, wolves hate coyotes more than anything. So just like that, coyotes managed to outcompete their biggest enemy and also colonize their bloodline. And with coyotes found in every state that isn't Hawaii, they basically humbled humanity too. And that's why I rock with them. They're alive out of spite, and I respect that.
Man. A merge between coyote and wolf, both ops joining together, man. All because of us. Crazy story in Animal Kingdom history.
Unexpected emergency alert systems in different countries. Firstly, if you don't know, countries have different emergency alert systems. The one I'm used to is America's that sounds like this.
Yup.
But on the other hand, we have the country of Barbados, which honestly sounds like club music. Next is Japan, which to me isn't that scary, it just sounds like a notification. Now, one that I would genuinely be terrified by is Ireland's. Just imagine waking up to this. Finally, you know, I'm kind of glad that America's emergency alarm isn't too scary, because Denmark is on another level.
Nightmarish facts about your body that you probably shouldn't think about. Due to the brain's lack of pain receptors, brain surgery is often performed while the patient is awake and talking. And in some cases of brain surgery, the surgeon will pull your face forward like a banana. Men's nipples can be stimulated enough to produce milk. Once you turn 30 years old, you can expect to lose half an inch every 10 years. When you developed in the womb, your anus was formed before anything else. So at one point, you were nothing but an asshole. The acid in your body is strong enough to dissolve razor blades, which is why your stomach is in a constant battle to not digest itself. When you get a sunburn, your cells are dying to avoid becoming cancerous. A sneeze can blow out of your nose at over 100 miles an hour. So next time, be careful, because it's actually possible to break a rib simply by sneezing. If you've ever been on a roller coaster and feel like your heartbeat is in your mouth, it isn't your imagination. Your organs are actually moving around inside your body.
You guys know some freaking creepy facts? I think the one that got to me is that we have enough stomach acid to freaking burn, like I said, the razor blade, bro. And they were literally born in that freaking butthole, bro. I never knew that was the first thing that formed, man. So we was all, I guess the asshole was out of that life. Edit. Like I said, man, if you guys see any edits, man, I'll call them out as well, bro. We all need to help each other, man, this community.
Adult jokes in kids' cartoons you probably didn't notice.
Hey, Judy! Want a pie with a real bug? Yeah! Oh, lady, come like lava. Yeah.
So, being a ladybug automatically makes me a girl. Is that it, flyboy? Huh?
Yikes! She's a god!
Knowledge you wish you didn't know, Gandhi was racist and sexist. He kept a bunch of underage girls with him all the time. He would bathe with them, get full-body massages from them, and sleep naked with them in order to test himself. He also thought women were responsible for their own sexual assaults, and was totally cool with fathers killing their own daughters after they had been sexually assaulted for family honor.
Gandhi Doc origins confirmed. What?
Lauren was shot 15 times, and 8 of those shots were fatal. Emergency personnel arrived at the scene, as well as local neighbors, so that they could assist. At that point, no one had told Lauren's parents that she had been shot. Lauren's mom, Bianca, was unaware of what was going on, and was just doing what she normally did, waiting at home for Lauren to arrive. But then, one of her friends pulled up to her house, asking if Lauren was home yet. Her mom was confused about this question, and responded and said, "No, why?" And the friend, in a panic, said, "Kids are down," and then left. So her mom Bianca didn't hesitate or even let her dad Vern know what she was doing, and she just booked it out the front door to make sure that it wasn't her child that was, quote, down. Lauren's dad Vern could tell that something was wrong because Bianca wasn't the kind of person to just jump up, flee the house without saying anything or indicating what was wrong. So he knew something was up. So he immediately hopped in his truck and he followed her. There were tons of police cars, ambulances, people, and now crime scene tape blocking the area off. So Bianca was just looking around in a complete panic, trying to see if Lauren was there while simultaneously trying to assess the situation and come to terms with what was going on, and that is when she laid eyes on Lauren. In that moment, her worst fears realized and her worst nightmares come true, seeing her daughter on the ground appearing to have been shot.
Okay, this is getting creepy. Without finding out that a doomsday fish washed up dead in San Diego just 2 days before California was rattled by that 4.6 magnitude earthquake. I mean, come on. Now for anyone that doesn't know, we've spoken about this before, but according to Japanese mythology, the oarfish, which is very rarely seen by humans, because they saw the depths of roughly 200 to 1,000 meters, well, is said to intentionally rise to the surface and beach themselves ahead of an impending earthquake, hence the name. And I made a video earlier this year when one was spotted before the Japan earthquake, and now again, for this one. So, now remember, there is no scientific evidence that has proven a correlation between them washing up and earthquakes. So as of right now, all we can say is just it's a freaky coincidence.
You guys believe that, man? It's 2 out of 2 though. He did one early this year in the fish and that freaking earthquake happened, and another one happened as well. So he's 2 for 2 confirmed, man. It's starting to not seem like a coincidence anymore, Seekers.
Attractions in the World Part 2. Today we're going to be talking about the 17th door. This attraction is so much different than the rest because actors are allowed to touch you. There's also a slight possibility that you'll get your hair cut here, which makes things like 100 times worse. Put you through various levels and rooms that just kind of keep getting worse. The room that you're seeing here actually turns and spins while you're in it. It's really trippy, especially if you don't know it's coming. You can watch a walkthrough of this place online. A lot of commenters were saying that this doesn't do the place justice. Basically, they were holding back a little for the people recording, supposedly. Oh yeah, and here's their lovely little barber shop. I wouldn't go here, but let me know if you would.
I'm never going to any of those freaking haunted houses, bro. They're too extreme for my
Beetlejuice
taste.
is not going to try to marry Jenna Ortega's character in the sequel. I feel like the trailers make it abundantly clear that he's trying to get back with Lydia again. First thing he does when he sees her is he grabs her and he says, "I'm gonna make you so happy." He even has a picture of Lydia on his desk, and then he says, "Now's my chance." The trailer kind of implies that Lydia's husband dies at the beginning of the movie, so maybe the movie is about Beetlejuice trying to be a father to Jenna Ortega's character. He puts down the newspaper and it says obituary, so he probably found out someone died and he thought, now is my time. Let me have another chance with Lydia. You can even see in the trailer that he's at the altar with Lydia. You can also see a wedding cake in the chapel, and you see that this is Lydia with the red dress from the first movie. Like, the first wedding outfit is on the wedding cake. And we even see her in a chapel in the red dress. Because I know that Jenna Ortega is wearing a white dress here, but if she was marrying Beetlejuice, it would be this white dress. Also, let's be honest, like, it's 2024. I think they realized that they kind of made him look like a creep in the old movie and that society doesn't like that anymore, or they're not okay with that. And they acknowledge that in the musical. There's a whole song about how Lydia's marrying a creepy old guy and she's an underage bride. Also, this is a fan-made photo. But I know they added this character, I think her name's Dolores, that's gonna be Beetlejuice's wife. I can't wait for this movie though. Let me know your thoughts and follow my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more. It really helps when you interact.
I never watched the first Beetlejuice, guys, so tell me down below, man. Should I check that out? Do they sound like a creep trying to marry an underage girl? I don't think they're doing that in the second Beetlejuice.
What did Smith really mean to tell us?
Yo, we out here on vacation in the Bahamas. Another beautiful day. Check it out. Check it out. Boom. I want to talk to y'all for a minute about the power of perception. You see, there's a lot that goes in to being a hot social media content provider. For instance, y'all think I got time to go on vacation? No. I got social to do. Come on, man, this is blue screen. In fact, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I haven't looked like this good in years. I've been totally computer generated since like the 90s. You know what? This ain't even real blue screen. It's 2019, y'all. Nothing's real.
Tell me,
The whole message is just freaking computer generated, man. That's really scary. It shows you how far technology has come, and you can literally just make anything, bro, on the internet. Location, your face, whole bodies. Oh, that's trippy.
do you believe was Disney trying to tell us something? Crazy, right? Some things are just an optical illusion, right? Well, is this an optical illusion? Look at that and tell me you don't know what that is. Go ahead and tell me that confidently and mean it. Because you know darn well what that is. You can see it. No, that's not a carving. That's a petrified animal from the days of old.
Do you see this?
Yes.
Do you see this?
Yep.
It's freaking nature! And it's freaking
Yes, it is. And I don't think science can properly explain how these animals were petrified so quickly to where they were able to preserve their form through all these years. And you know, that really got me thinking. There's plenty of statues on this earth that are thousands of years old. Now, what if they were petrified beings? Now, I know, it's just a thought. And yeah, I can't wait for the Mount Rushmore jokes. And you can joke all you want, but I promise you truth is stranger than fiction.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all. If a person dies in their costume at Disney, like Mickey Mouse, they have to be sat down on a bench so it looks like they're resting. Climate change is making spiders bigger. Some female spiders allow their young to eat them alive. Tooth in the eye surgery is when surgeons put a tooth in a blind person's eye to restore their sight. It was pioneered in the 1960s, and it actually works, and it's still being done today. The chances of a successful CPR outside of a hospital is only 7%. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. When you suddenly wake up during the night without any reason, there was someone or something staring at you. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 12.
Need to clean our phones, bro.
Even
ASAP.
the actor that plays Art the Clown vomited from how gross Terrifier 3 is about to be. In fact, there were a lot of really big production companies that wanted to be involved in making Terrifier 3. The creator ended up turning it down because he didn't want to have less gore and tone down certain scenes. To stick it to these companies, he said, we're gonna make it even worse. He even said that they're gonna make the bedroom scene from the last movie look like a little kid thing. Like, that is how intense this movie is going to be. That is the level that we're about to be on. It's supposedly an unwritten rule that you're not supposed to do anything to kids. Like when bad things happened to Georgie and it was like such a game changer, and so many people were like really upset that they would kid in a film. And I don't know about you, but I'm thinking of so many movies where they don't follow that rule. But they are not about to hold back. I don't understand how they can do like the bedroom scene and then be able to put that in the movie theater. The scene took 3 years to make, and it was so intense that people were either vomiting or walking out of the theater. But it was insane. It was so an awakening. Terrifier the franchise is just known for upsetting the mainstream and pushing boundaries in horror, which I love. But one thing is certain, I absolutely cannot wait for this film.
Looks like Terrifier 3 is going to be pushing the limit. Again, man. I'm kind of not big into horror, so just gonna have to read the reviews about it, see if it lives up, I guess, to that hype. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, comment down below, man. Like I said, even if it's just to say hi, guys, man, it helps us, gonna push us into the algorithm, man. Like I said, we're getting there day by day, bro. So I really appreciate the support. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Follow me on my social medias as well, so we always stay connected. You guys gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? if you guys are brand new to the channel, man, if you guys don't know what we do, we break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in with us, watching the video entirely, hitting that post notification bell, man, follow me on my social medias, and most importantly, hitting that like button on each and every single video I drop. I really appreciate it, man, helping us push us into the algo. So I appreciate the help. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth.
Dead, she must have been out of her head.
Hi, my name is Ethan, and we'll be talking about disturbing facts so sinister I stopped sleeping.
Okay.
Number 1, since the 1980s, there's been estimated over 220,000 unsolved serial killers in the United States. Number 2, when Disney first opened the new Pirates of the Caribbean ride in the 1960s, for props, they used real human skeleton remains. They claimed that the real ones were so much better than the props that they had. Eventually, they filtered them out and got fake ones. Number 3, Mount Everest is not only the highest viewpoint in the world, but it's also the highest graveyard. It's estimated that there are over 150 bodies buried in the snow.
Disturbing facts you never knew. You have tiny
Chilling.
skin mites that come out at night and do the thing on your face. A 10-second kiss on the lips can pass on 80 million bacteria, some unknown to scientists. Good thing you don't have to worry about that. Certain kinds of tumor called teratoma can cause your body to grow teeth and hair around it. When Eskimo babies have colds, their mother sucks the snot out of their nose with their mouth. Yummy. People who stay up at night are more likely to become psychopaths compared to those who sleep early. So please go to sleep now.
First of all, the fact that he just called thank you what he said, man. He just had to call y'all ain't have no freaking y'all got a girl right there, bro. And the fact that they said the mom sucks the snot out of the nose to kid nose. That's like the completely different level. I never knew that was happening, man. The more you know.
Disturbing facts about Disney that will leave you shocked. 18-year-old actress who voiced Snow White was paid less than $1,000 to do it. She also was not credited. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland
Finesse.
used real skulls in its set design when it first opened. Actress who played Lilo in Lilo and Stitch also played Samara in The Ring. Part of your world was almost cut from The Little Mermaid because the chair of Walt Disney Studios was afraid that kids would think that the song was boring. Don from Beauty and the Beast in the 1995 version was the first male villain in any Disney princess movie. After Finding Nemo came out, there was a problem with kids around the world flushing their fish down the toilet so that they could go back to the ocean. The music on the It's a Small World ride never, ever turns off. Follow for more facts.
Why doesn't it turn off,
But
bro?
what exactly is going on here? Why are these artists so comfortable with telling you guys that you're going to hell?
So let me explain something real quick. Before everybody starts screaming and saying, oh, like I told y'all earlier, you motherfuckers enter the rapture. And if ain't nobody flying up to heaven right now, obviously all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me. So, let's get it. I'm so sorry, you can't get out. You're stuck. It's over. You heard the song a billion times and you didn't even know.
And then say you're still going to listen to their music anyway, so why even bring it up?
We bring up people say like devil worshiper or anything, like how's the music? Because it'll be a mother gonna be like, Boozy, get with God. And then I'll drop a song and like, damn.
Comment amen right now to ward off any evil spirits coming from these videos. And what's up with everybody
Please do.
doing this hand symbol? Like, this was never a trend. I never saw any of my friends doing this pose. What does it mean, and what are you trying to say? And I don't want to hear this just a pose. It's not like the peace sign. And check this out.
I was hitting a block, right? I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right? So I went in the corner, and then I was looking at the wall, and I was like, come on, devil, right? Come to me, because I had to do something like crazy, right? I had nightmares for a month.
So let me get this straight. You really need to call upon the devil in order to help you act better for a role. Again, we can't act oblivious like something weird isn't going on here. But let me know, am I tripping? Am I crazy? And make sure to follow because part 2 is about to get a lot more crazy.
Is there more to that theory, Seekers? He was bringing up very valid points, man. All the signs are pointing to it. We just gotta be able to see it.
NASA have just announced the discovery of an Earth-sized planet that they say could be habitable. It's called TOI 700E, fucking great name. It's 95% of Earth size, likely rocky, and it falls within what they call the Goldilocks habitable zone. This is apparently where the distance between the planet and the star that it orbits is at a perfect point that can sustain liquid water, meaning that the conditions could be just right for life to exist. So the question is this just overhyped, or is 2023 about to get
4 of the most horrifying things we've ever found on beaches. Number 1, a sack containing 54 severed human hands. I don't really know, I don't have words to describe how horrifying this is, and I could not imagine just finding a bag on the beach and opening it up and be like, oh look, human hands, but this happened in Siberia. Number 2, famine victims. Basically a bunch of human bones washed up onto a beach, and they were actually from something called a coffin ship, which were a bunch of ships that kind of left Ireland during the potato famine where everyone was starving to death and dying, and we found some human bones on a beach. Number 3, a dead sperm whale filled with plastic. Now that might not sound horrifying, but if you think about it, there's so much plastic in the ocean that it took down the largest toothed predator currently on our planet. That is horrifying that it is that present in our ocean and that deadly. For the Montauk Monster, people hypothesize that this deformed looking creature was everything from a chupacabra to the missing link, but basically it's just a really deformed raccoon. As horrifying as that looks, it's just literally a trash bin.
Man, I think the first one for that's a chilling story, bro. 54 human hands. Just imagine you just walking one day on the beach, bro, with your family, man. A bag washes up, you open it, it's full of human hands. How would you guys act? I mean, that much plastic in the water there, yeah, took down the whole whale.
Disturbing facts you didn't want to hear, part 2. Many doctors say that the most common last words they hear are, I don't feel so good. Most laugh tracks you hear in TV shows were recorded in the 1950s, meaning that the people you hear laughing are probably dead. During the French Revolution, it was said that the guillotine had to be used multiple times to get the job done. The reason that planes shut off their lights right before they land is so that passengers' eyes can adjust to the dark just in case there's a crash. This is so if the power goes out during the crash landing, they can better find an escape route.
Whatever you do,
the more you know.
Answer this phone call. This is John Pork. Now, he's supposedly a CGI-generated influencer with an unsettling appearance. He seems to be half man, half swine. The creature posts videos of himself dancing and traveling around the world to popular tourist locations. But this is where things get scary. You see, John used to call everybody, but nobody would answer. Before he was sadly unalive. Yeah, John is no longer with us. He had went out for a night of fun, and tragically was unalived. After this, people have been getting strange calls from a haunting contact that says John Pork. And if you answer, this is what happens. Before I tell you, I know this food look good, I'm sorry. I can't share. But here's what we're gonna do. Your fourth act has to make or buy you food for the rest of this month, since I made you suffer. Let me know who it is. Supposedly, if you answer the call of John Pork, you'll summon him from the dead, and at midnight, he'll appear.
I got called by John Pork?
These are facts that will make your skin crawl, part 1. Up first, did you know that women can actually give birth after death? It's extremely rare, but it's called coffin birth. Up next, everybody has definitely heard of the 5-second rule and probably applied it in your life at least once. But did you know in those 5 seconds, minor insects can still crawl on your food after you drop it on the floor, pick it up, and then eat it? Up next, if a black cat looks at you and then suddenly runs away, it means that something unusual is about to happen to you. So if this happened to you recently, then I recommend just staying in your room and not leaving. Finally, did you know that a cockroach can live 9 days without its head before it starves to death? This is absolutely crazy, and as weird as this sounds, I have to see it to believe it.
Me too, 9 days. The story to him, that's the only one that always comes back to mind where they said they lived a day without his head. But 9? I might be pushing it. I'll have to see that to believe it.
Truth Through Media Part 4. At the end of the Men in Black movie, they zoom out to show the viewers the immense size of the universe. and then show our universe within a marble and a being throwing this marble and then picking up our marble with our universe in it and putting it in a bag full of other marbles. This was not by accident. Now, don't forget that scientists around the world are now disclosing, including NASA, that the universe is a living being and they're working to understand it. So really, we are small, puny creatures living inside or on a giant creature. Just like the cells in our body, how they have lives of their own, including the bacteria and viruses within us, we're the same in a way. But this is what I mean by science is working to understand it, because even people that channel extraterrestrials say that they don't even fully understand the life of this grand being. I think this is so cool because it doesn't just say that we live in a giant being, but that everything small is just a small version of something big. Now y'all see why I'm a nerd, right? This is me thinking. Really, we don't fully understand what this greater being is and how it lives and why we live within inside of it. All we know is that it exists.
Here are three board games that will actually terrify you, with number 1 being the scariest of the 3 games. At number 3, we have The Pony Factory. A machine from hell turns people into disgusting abominations that resemble horses. You have a nail gun and you have to take them out, but here's the catch. The game is dark and you can only either hold your flashlight or your gun at a time. Number 2 is The Prototype. You have to test a children's robotic toy and things start to go wrong. As you play, more of the story is revealed, and this is the part of the game that's actually scary. I won't spoil the story here, but I have a full playthrough of this game on my channel if you're interested. And at number 1, we have Slide in the Woods. Man, this game. You're in a park and you slide down the slide over and over again. But then the more times you go down the slide, the more things start to change in the world around you. Like at first it was daytime, and then all of a sudden it's night. And then once when you slide down, everything changes and it is terrifying. This game is free. Please try it out for yourself and go in blind.
Got China's Game Seekers. Whoa, what the hell? Pictures that have different meanings.
Fun facts until the Orbeez overflow. If there was a zombie apocalypse, we'd be outnumbered 15-1. There was a chicken named Mike that lived for 18 months with no head. Yellowstone volcano would cover almost the entire country if it erupted, and it's well overdue. There's a brain-eating organism known as Naegleria fowleri that lives in lakes and rivers in southern United States. Only one man survived the electric chair, and he said death tastes like peanut butter. Ladybugs eat half their larvae to ensure the survival of the other half, like a natural Thanos. And it looks like I'm out of time. Follow for more fun facts.
Tap in, you're gonna learn with us, man.
So I found these
blow your
conspiracy
mind.
theories that are so believable, they actually might be true.
Talk about it.
Number 1, studies show that cats understand human commands, but don't care to follow them. Yeah, I don't like cats. I'm a dog kind of guy. Number 2, it is believed that when you die in a dream, you wake up because your brain doesn't know how to process the idea of what comes after death. Could be. I believe it. Number 3,
I believe that
now
too.
this is scary. The reason Disney came out with a movie called Frozen was so that when you Googled Disney Frozen, you would get information about the movie and not the websites talking about Walt Disney's body being frozen. I mean, I did see an article about this that was published in 1995. Not sure if this is true or not, but I do believe it. This is where it gets freaky. Number 4, Mike Tyson's fight, Time Traveler. This fight was in 1995. If you look closely, you can see that that could be a smartphone. In fact, it does look like a smartphone to me. There were no smartphones in 1995. This is how phones used to look like in 1995. They didn't have cameras. They barely had any color. But this thing double flashed, exactly like how an iPhone or an Android would take a picture. I don't know about time travel, but this is very interesting. I'd really like to know what this thing was. What's the creepiest conspiracy theory that you heard of?
That Mike Tyson one kind of got to me. I'm like, yeah, you saw the freaking flash going off, and we saw the pictures of the phone. So how the hell did somebody have access to a phone like that? Time travel confirmed, and that Disney Frozen one got to me. That one surprised me at all, man. If that's the reason behind it. Big corporations want to distract us from the
Let's
truth.
talk about the terrifying lore surrounding the various creatures of the horror game Iron Lung. It's important to start with the fact that Iron Lung takes place entirely underneath the surface of a blood ocean on the moon. And this blood ocean is thought to be completely empty. However, it's not empty at all, and the first creature I want to talk about is this one right here. This is the one that burst through your ship at the very end of the game, but he's actually seen much earlier. So it's implied that he follows the path of your submarine through the entire game. Next is the most iconic moment of the game when you first see this eye on your camera. It belongs to a giant whale-like creature, but how do we know that? The giant whale skeletons on the surface of the blood ocean tell us that there might be many of these creatures, and this portal into the void gives us an idea of where they might be coming from.
Oh, okay. Not a scary game.
Hey, remember this nonsense of the cheetah gator? Yeah, this was real, and there was a time where it was everyone's problem. Its actual name is the Orari Pasukas, and his hood is in what is now South America and Africa. And the memes are true. He was a land op, meaning he would run his prey down. Scientists believe the Orari Pasukas would have galloped after its prey. Luckily for everything around it, it was actually a mini-me that only grew to about 3 to 5 feet long, and it probably only ate small lizards, mammals, and dinosaur hatchlings. Now, if this guy pulled up on you, it would be a very different movie. Caprosuchus saharicus was a 23-foot middle finger with teeth that looked like it belonged to a feral pig, which is actually why they were nicknamed the boar croc. And unlike crocodiles today, whose eyes are at the top of their head, the Caprosuchus' eyes were more lateral. You might not realize it, but that's very bad, because instead of just hiding in the water with just its eyes above the surface, this assault weapon with teeth had binocular vision and depth perception, meaning not only was it catching bodies on land, it was probably chasing them down too. And unlike its smaller cousin, it probably clapped dinosaurs. And if Google was right, this 23-foot monster with boar jaws would have been almost as fast as Usain Bolt. They would have attacked you by slamming their snout into you like a sledgehammer. The only reason they're not around today is even nature knows when it's gone too far.
They had to delete him from nature, man. It was getting too
Disturbing
OP.
story about Genie Wiley. The young girl seen in this photo's name is Genie Wiley, otherwise known as the feral child barely able to walk at 13. For her entire life, her father had abused her insanely viciously, keeping her in a makeshift straitjacket and tying her to a children's toilet in a locked room all day. And when she did anything or made any sound that he didn't like, he'd growl at her and bare his teeth like a dog. Under such brutal conditions, Wiley never learned how to walk or speak, which is actually just so inhumane. When this photo was taken of her after she was rescued and taken to a hospital, her life inside a series of abusive institutions was only beginning. Today, Genie Wiley lives in an adult foster care home somewhere in Southern California. Nobody knows about her present condition, but in 2000, somebody hired a private investigator to find her, and they described her as kind of happy.
She was kind of happy in the
Did you
end,
know
man.
people who stay up late and get up late are more likely to become psychopaths? Hello, and here's some creepy facts. Most laugh tracks and shows are from people in the 50s, which means you are hearing the laughter of dead people. If you wake up between 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. for no apparent reason, there's a 90% chance something was staring at you. Lack of sleep will shrink your brain. 70% of your dreams contain hidden meanings. On average, people escape death about 6 times through their life without knowing it. You're always 6 minutes away from death, but breathing resets the clock. Your body is the weakest between 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. as this is the time most people die in their sleep. If you shiver for no reason, then it means a spirit is passing near you. Heartbreak is a real thing known as broken heart syndrome, and the symptoms are similar to a heart attack. Your phone has a very tiny camera that watches your every move. Every time you sneeze, you skip a heartbeat.
Whoa. When you sneeze, you skip a
Let's talk about a disturbing entity in Silent Hill that blurs the line between an angel and a demon. Valtiel. Valtiel's name basically means God's servant, and that's exactly what he does. Throughout the entirety of Silent Hill 3, he follows Heather Mason everywhere, just watching and waiting. But what exactly is he waiting for? Remember, Valtiel is a being that serves God, and the antagonists in Silent Hill 3 are trying to resurrect God by using Heather Mason. So every time the player dies in Silent Hill 3, Valtiel drags Heather Mason off screen and revives her. And at the end of the game, when Heather Mason gets rid of the god growing inside of her, Valtiel steps in and forces the ritual to happen anyway, which births a disfigured version of God. There are also some theories that Valtiel may be related to Pyramid Head in some way, but I'm not too sure about that after researching.
Silent Hill 3 games, man, they're based off of some dark
These are
stuff.
8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all. If a person dies in their costume at Disney, like Mickey Mouse, they have to be sat down on a bench so it looks like they're resting. Climate change is making spiders bigger. Some female spiders allow their young to eat them alive. Tooth in the eye surgery is when surgeons put a tooth in a blind person's eye to restore their sight. It was pioneered in the 1960s, and it actually works, and it's still being done today.
Whoa.
The chances of a successful CPR outside of a hospital is only 7%. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. When you suddenly wake up during the night without any reason, there was someone or something staring at you. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 12.
I can't believe you put a tooth in the eye. It restores your sight, man. How come more people, we haven't heard about this more?
What is the scariest game you've ever played? I get this question almost every time I post a video or stream. And even though I've probably played well over 100 horror games, it's probably something like Dead Space, Outlast, or PT, right? It's actually something you might not have heard of. The scariest game I've ever played is a game called Lost in Vivo. But what makes this game so terrifying? Lost in Vivo takes inspiration from many different horror classics and puts them into one horrifying package. Every different type of scare you can imagine is in this game. It's also one of the only horror games I've ever played that gets scarier the longer you play. If you're not someone that gets scared easily, give this one a try.
You just combined everything into one. I ain't into scary games like that, though. That ain't me. That was a creepy
This is one of the most disturbing stories in video game history. Let's talk about the story behind Resident Evil's most tragic character, Lisa Trevor.
Okay.
Our story starts before the events of Resident Evil 1. Lisa Trevor was the daughter of George and Jessica Trevor. George was a big architect in charge of building the Spencer Mansion. And when the family is invited to the mansion to celebrate after its completion, the daughter and mother are kidnapped. They're each given different strains of the progenitor virus that causes their body to go through horrible mutations. Eventually, the mother, Jessica Trevor, is executed after these experiments are deemed a failure. But Lisa is responding well to the virus, and they keep her there for a long time, performing experiment after experiment on her. She was barely even human anymore after all the testing, so they decided to get rid of her. But they couldn't. At this point, Lisa Trevor's regenerative abilities were so great that she was virtually invincible. She would later escape into the Arklay Mountains to live a life of despair and solitude until she met her end in Resident Evil 1.
Damn, those are you begin to have some dark backstories to each character.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. Registered nurse Shirley Smith said that she had a very rich patient who was a true Satanist that was dying of cancer. The patient had upside-down crosses and a Satan's Bible by her bedside. Shirley said that she will never forget what happened. It was the middle of the summer, and yet it was so cold and dark in her room that you couldn't even stand it, even in the middle of the day. She said that it got so evil feeling in there that she had to call a priest to pray with her and her aides before they would even enter the room. When the patient passed away, she had not spoken in over 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, she sat straight up and said, "Satan, take me." And then she fell back on the bed. Shirley said that after she passed, the room got bright and extremely warm. Shockingly, when they moved the patient's body, they had to get rid of the mattress because where her body had been, it looked burnt. And the most horrible smell was emanating from the mattress cover. Needless to say, Shirley went to confession immediately because she did not want an evil spirit around her. A nurse said that one of their patients had a serious recurrence and had to be admitted. Over the course of several nights, he had become quite upset during rounds. He kept asking for his wallet, saying that he had to pay the ferryman. The medical student on rotation in the department took a quarter out of his pocket and put it in the patient's hand. The patient then dropped the coin into the cup on his bedstand and calmed down. Later that night, he passed away quietly. The nurse asked what happened. The medical student who remembered his Greek mythology said that the patient had to pay Charon, the ferryman, to be taken across the river Styx. A nurse said that he was doing rounds at a hospital. There was one two-patient room, and one of the patients was a very loud and confused woman who could be quite a handful. On this particular night, she had a roommate who had passed away shortly before the nurse entered the room. She was DNR, so there was no code blue. When he entered the room, he noticed that the elderly lady, who was usually very loud and confused, was sitting quietly with her hands crossed neatly upon her lap. Something was different, and there was this look of serenity on her face. She asked him in a voice that seemed much younger and clearer than before, "Did you see them, young man? They're so beautiful." He said, "No, ma'am, there's no one else here." She said, "They're right next to you, talking to Mrs. Banneker. The angels. They're so beautiful." He said that he instantly felt every hair of his body stand up, and an electric tingle course up and down his spine. "They're not here for me this time," she said sadly.
This girl got cut
What they here
into
for
1,000
then?
pieces, and this is a massive trigger warning. On January 19th, 1996, the mutilated remains of Diao Ailing, who disappeared 9 days prior, were found across multiple locations in China. Her body had been dismembered into over 2,000 pieces. The case remains unsolved, and it's one of the most notorious crimes in Chinese history. On January 10th, 1996 in the evening, Diao and her college roommate were punished for the illegal use of an electric appliance. After a conflict with the dormitory management, she left the building and did not return. Diao was last seen alive wearing a red coat with a black lining. She was reported missing, but her family was not notified by the authorities until January 19th. The discovery of Diao's remains in the winter of January 19th was first reported by a sanitary worker. Initially, he thought it was pork, so he brought it home for food. And while preparing the meat for himself, 3 human fingers were found in it. The worker then reported the discovery to the police, and they confirmed they were human fingers. Human remains in plastic-wrapped packages were eventually discovered across 8 locations around the university, including at a stadium, entrance gate, hospital, and along roadsides. The police later confirmed that the scattered remains were of Diao's and informed her father to visit Beijing. Between January 20th and 30th, Diao's head and clothes were found. More than 2,000 human remains were recovered. Diao's head and internal organs were boiled for several days. Crucial organs including the heart, liver, and spleen were never found. The forensics team was only able to identify the remains as belonging to a female through the analysis of body hair and muscle tissue. Relatives of Diao were able to identify her through a mole on her right cheek. A senior officer involved in the case described the killing as really cruel, which in my opinion is a nice way to put it. The officer also added that the pieces of flesh were dissected with high precision, only achieved by an individual with great understanding of anatomy. Police concluded that the murderer must have been a professional butcher or surgeon. Teachers and students then became the subject of investigation. 2 suspect profiles were brought up, including a single physical fit middle-aged male. However, the university department could not find any individuals that matched the characteristics of the profile. A major investigation was launched in the university and the areas around, but no major clues of the crime were found, and the case failed to make any progress. In 2016, Nanjing police told the family of Diao that the case is still under investigation. Okay, so let's talk about this case for a second. If the killer was never found and he had the skill to dissect somebody into 2,000 pieces and never get caught with it, don't you think he might be a serial killer? And if he was, how many more people do you think he murdered after Diao? The dedication and skill, and honestly the obsession to cut somebody into 2,000 pieces and not get caught with it is crazy. This person could be walking around the streets of China today doing the same things to other people that he did to Diao. The thought of that is absolutely disturbing, and may Diao rest in peace.
You never know, man. Sure, the crew pretty sure. I feel like karma's gonna get him in the end, man. The energy will always find a way to come back to you. May take a while, but it's gonna come to you in the end. Can't avoid it forever. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys follow me on all my social medias down below. Hit that post notification bell, man. Also, man, don't forget to hit that like button on each and every single video I'm dropping, man. Like I said, and enjoy it, because I think this is going to be the last month we're doing daily uploads. I kind of want to switch it up for you guys, man. Like I said, man, we're trying to check off in this algorithm, so I really appreciate the support. Thank you guys for joining me on my journey. You guys can catch in the next one, man. I'm out. Appreciate YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to my channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, and hitting the like button on each and every video. You guys don't know how much you guys are helping out the channel just grow by just doing those 3 simple steps. I really appreciate it, man. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, seekers, man. Let's seek the truth.
A lot of people were using bath salts as a drug to get high. Basically, the bath salt would make you hallucinate. So in 2009 in Miami, Florida, Rudy Eugene was apparently high on bath salts. He walked into a busy crowd, took off all his clothes, then walked over to where a homeless man was staying, Ronald Popo, 65 years old at the time, and started eating his face off. Yes, eating his face, his nose, his eyes, his mouth. He even tried taking off all his clothes. When witnesses saw what happened, they called police, and police got over 5 calls of this. When police showed up, they told Rudy to stop doing what he was doing, and apparently Rudy was growling at them. He said it was like he didn't understand what they were saying. And that went on for 18 minutes before they decided to shoot him dead. And look how this poor man turned out after. That's a horrible crime.
Imagine you break it.
Man, that's why I always stay away from stuff like that, seekers, man, because you take something like that, man, it can literally change you. It can literally turn you into a damn like demon, bro. So what he did to his face? And like I said, when the police came, niggas, like they said, he couldn't even understand what they were saying. He was just like all delirious or something. I'm just like, just stay away from that in general, seekers. It's my best advice to you guys. It's a crazy ass story.
Into your ex-lover's house and brutally murder his new wife in a fit of jealous rage. You also happen to be a young police officer at the time, and you stage the crime scene to look like a robbery, and that's just what police deem it at the time. And over the next 23 years, you work your way up the police department and become a detective that specializes in stolen art cases, which apparently the issue of stolen art rampant enough to require its own special unit. Now, over the span of time that you got on with your life and swept that murder under the rug, DNA testing got real good, and your Van Gogh sniffing ass is about to have that nice cushy lifestyle turned right the upside down. In 2009, police just decided, hey, let's test the bite mark left on Sherry Rasmussen's arm. The DNA came back as female. They were like, female burglars? That's not a thing. They decided to pursue the theory that the Rasmussens had suspected the whole time that Stephanie Lazarus was the killer. So the cops just went into the office, pulled a discarded cup out of the garbage that Stephanie was drinking. When they swabbed it, it was a perfect match. Stephanie's own colleagues brought her in for questioning, and that's where shit gets spicy. 23 years after Stephanie Lazarus murdered Sherry Rasmussen, the wife of a man that Stephanie used to date, she's brought in for questioning. Sherry and her husband John's families had long suspected that Stephanie was the killer, even though cops suspected it was a robbery. They had even told police that Stephanie would stalk John and Sherry and go by their house and even Sherry's place of work, telling Sherry that if she couldn't have John, then no one could. Police now had the DNA evidence to prove that Stephanie was the person who broke in, smashed a vase over Sherry's head, brutally beat her in the face with the butt of her gun, left a bite mark on her arm, and shot her 3 times. Police just went up to Stephanie in the office one day and were just like, hey, this'll just take a second. We just want to talk to you about a stolen art case. They weren't there to talk about no art. They were like, hey, did you know somebody named John Rutten? What went down next is one of the most enjoyable dismantlings of someone's aura of invincibility that you could ever hope to see. And as they suck her back into that time period, the screws that held Stephanie's face in a normal-looking position for 23 years start to loosen. Best part is they tell her she's free to go, and she goes out into the hallway, and they handcuff her and arrest her right there.
You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes. Hi, I'm Karen.
Goes to show you, man, whatever negative or energy or something you put out in the universe, you did something that bad and horrifying, you think you got away with it, it's gonna come around and get you, man. It might take a month, it could take a couple of days, it might take years, but at the end of the day, it's gonna come back, man. The thing is, like, she got away with that for that many years, boom. But she left so much evidence, and she was like one of the suspects, and they just didn't even care to look at her. She thought she was probably gonna get away with it too. No, the energy you put out was gonna come back.
This is a minute murder. May of 1999, a 14-year-old girl made her way to a Hong Kong police station. Officers, she was being haunted by the ghost of a woman who had been bound by electrical wire and tortured to death. They brushed her off until she explained that she had a hand in her murder. They followed her back to her flat and found this. A oversized Hello Kitty doll with a decapitated skull of a woman inside it. The head of Fan Man Yi. Fan's life was tragic before this event took place. After being abandoned by her family as a child, she was raised in a girls' home. She developed a drug addiction and was turning to prostitution to pay for her drug habit. In early 1997, Fan met Chan Man Lok, a 34-year-old pimp and drug dealer. Later in 1997, desperate for money and drugs, Fan Man Yi stole Man Lok's wallet and attempted to make off with $4,000. As soon as he saw it was gone, he had 2 other men kidnap her. Earning the money back wasn't enough for them. He began torturing her for over a month. Tied her up and beat her, burned her skin, raped her, and forced her to eat human feces. When she died, they cut up her body in a bathtub with a saw. The 14-year-old girl participated in the murder but was granted immunity for giving the details. The 3 were sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole.
She was that young and she participated in it. What does the world come to, man?
Hey guys, I'm back. So let me tell you in 60 seconds why these 2 chicks are serious sociopaths.
Okay.
On July 5th, 2012, Skyler Neese, 16-year-old girl, snuck out of her house. The next morning, her dad went into her room and realized she never came home. Skyler's best friend Sheila comes to the house and tells her parents they snuck out to smoke some weed, but she dropped her off shortly before midnight. She also says their friend Rachel was with them. She then helps her parents search the neighborhood. The entire community begins searching for Skyler. After 2 months, Skyler still isn't found and the FBI gets involved. And they start questioning her schoolmates and her friends. The friend Rachel, who was with them that night, has a panic attack. She goes to police and confesses everything. She tells police that she and Sheila had planned Skyler's murder for literally months.
Whoa.
They convinced her to sneak out that night, and then they stabbed her over 50 times. They had 0 remorse, and posted things like this on social. I mean, are you even serious?
Dedication right there goes to show, man, how your friends, sometimes they truly aren't your friends, bro. You saw all the listening reasons. Like, they planned the whole thing, and they're so young, man. What is it up with these young people we keep seeing? It's like participating in these things. You have to be better, man. The whole world. That's insane.
The lie this woman told will make you sick.
Her name is Alicia Head, and she claimed to have been a survivor of the World Trade Center attack in 2001.
Come on,
she
man.
claimed she had narrowly survived the collapse of the South Tower, whilst her fiancé had perished in the North Tower. She would then go on to become president of the World Trade Center's Survivors Network Support Group. She would help get grants for other fellow survivors. But there was one big problem with all of this. Alicia was never at the World Trade Centers. She was exposed for having been at university in the native city of Barcelona. After being exposed, Alicia fled New York. For more 7 sins, remember to hit the plus button.
How did they even get that far?
True Swine, where I tell you how true crime has made me hate the cops even more. You don't need to know my name, it's not important, but you do need to know the name Jacob Wetterling. Jacob Wetterling went missing on October 22nd, 1989 when he was 11 years old. He and his friends were on the way to the store and they got approached by a man in a mask and he was abducted. The police didn't interview neighbors or witnesses for at least a few days afterwards, which is critical in a missing children's case. The children who were with Jacob when he went missing, their statements were discounted completely by the police because they were children. Instead of doing actual investigating, they spent the budget on mediums and psychics to see if they could find where Jacob was. His case garnered national coverage. His mom, Patty, and her activism is the reason why we have the sex offender registry as we know it. After harassing the man who owned the property where Jacob went missing for decades, this man came forward and admitted it. This predator's name is Danny James Heinrich. He had previous offenses against children in 87, 88, and in January of the same year that Jacob Wetterling went missing. The cops even had his DNA and he was a suspect in the Jacob Wetterling case, but he was written off for some reason. In 2016, he was arrested on child porn charges. As part of his plea bargain, he admitted murdering Jacob.
This fried chicken salesman almost caught one of the biggest serial killers in history by making a movie about him. This is the story of Tom Hansen, Zodiac Killer Hunter. In the early 1970s, the biggest story in the country was about how the Zodiac Killer, a hooded serial killer terrorizing the Bay Area in California, had murdered 5 confirmed victims. Despite the fact that the Zodiac had left several clues about his identity, police couldn't catch him. However, Tom Hansen, a businessman in San Francisco who owns several chains of fried chicken and pizza fast food restaurants, had an idea. The way he figured it, the Zodiac Killer was so full of himself that if somebody made a movie about him and did a fancy premiere for it, the real killer wouldn't be able to resist coming to the theater to see it. He planned to make the world's first movie about the Zodiac Killer so he could lure the real Zodiac Killer into a movie theater and then capture him. Hansen shot the movie in a couple of weeks in 1971 on a $13,000 budget. He couldn't get any studios to buy the film, so he paid to have the movie screened at the RKO Theater in San Francisco by himself. So did the plan work? And was the movie any good? There's still a lot more to the story, so like and follow for part 2. Unsolved Distract.
Wow. Concerned citizen, man, actually was trying to do something, bro. I gotta figure out, we're gonna have to try to find a part 2 to see if that actually worked. If you think about it, it was a good idea. I wonder if it actually like drew him out. He made a whole movie about it, and why didn't none of the studios want to pick it up, man? That's what good cause trying to lure him out, and none of the studios did. He put the Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself. What the hell? Comment down below if you guys want me to find part 2 to that.
Australian crimes, this is about the Trump family, and strange doesn't even begin to describe this. Okay, so this is the Trump family, and on the 30th of August in 2016, police arrived at their home. No one was there, the doors were unlocked, one car was missing, all the other cars had the keys in the ignition. All their passports, phones and bank cards were still inside on the table with a pile of financial and business information. But by now the Trumps were hundreds of kilometers away. So Mark Trump, who was 51, Jacob Trump, who was 53, Rihanna Trump, who was 29, and Alla and Mitchell Trump, who were 22 and 25. And over the next 5 days, they were all located across New South Wales and Victoria. So for some reason, Mitch abandoned them all and started heading home. The two sisters stole a car and then went their separate ways. Then one sister snuck into the back of a truck and was found in a catatonic-like state. Jacoba was found in Yass and admitted to hospital. Mark was found in Wangaratta. And to this day, nobody knows why they did it or what happened. Hey guys, so a few people had similar comments about wanting a part 2 on theories about what happened to the Trump family, so I'm going to go through the most popular ones now. So there was a popular theory that because they owned a cherry farm, that people believed maybe the pesticides or chemicals they were using on the farm caused them all to fall mentally ill. Also widely believed that they shared a psychotic experience. There is a French name for the term, which I'm not sure how to pronounce, I'll put it up here, but refers to madness of two, which can sometimes happen in close-knit families or groups. That's another theory. There's another theory that it was a money hoax to make money from media deals. There's theories that there was no psychosis and that there was someone actually out to get the family. Some people believe it's also to do with aliens. I even read a theory about eating moldy bread, which can cause psychotic episodes. I think it was shared psychosis and not just the father. The sisters were acting strangely, so was the mother, so...
Hi, I'm Cam, this is...
The Trump family. That wasn't the family I was expecting. Like, you know, when we heard that name, the Trump family, used to go a whole completely different family. But look what happened to them. All those theories about what they all went different separate places. What theories do you guys believe, man? I guess I'm going with what he said, the psychosis. What happened to him? But the Trump family, though. That's really, really, like, odd and eerie, bro. You know.
This woman murder. Kim Edwards was what seemed like a regular 14-year-old girl. She lived with her mother Elizabeth and younger sister Katie in Lincolnshire, England. Kim's mother hid Elizabeth during an argument, but immediately called social services on herself. Kim and her younger sister were taken away temporarily. However, after they returned, Kim and her mother's relationship began to dissolve further. Meanwhile, Elizabeth and Katie grew extremely close. Kim was very jealous of this. At one point, Kim left a suicide note. Elizabeth discovered it and brought her daughter to a psychiatrist so she could get the help she needed. The psychiatrist found no signs of mental illness. Things grew worse when Kim started dating Lucas Markham, who she met while he threw a desk across the room in a rage at school. Elizabeth banned her daughter from seeing him. Lucas's solution was to kill her mother. On April 13th, 2016 at midnight, Lucas walked into the Edwards home and stabbed Elizabeth in the neck. He suffocated her with a pillow while continuing to stab her to death. Kim had planned on killing her little sister as well, but panicked and couldn't do it, so she told Lucas to. He killed the 13-year-old Katie the same way he killed her mother. After the killings, the couple washed off, had sex, ate ice cream, and watched Twilight. Leeds broke in and said, "What's going on?" Lucas said, "Why don't you go and have a look?"
58% of convicted murderers are men, which, like, that. But then when you really think about it, it's like, why? Women have way more reason to murder. Most people would say, well, it's just because men are more murdery. But I think something else is going on. I think women are murdering all over the ding-dang place, but we're just not getting caught, because we're better at it, like we are most. First of all, bitches are stealthy. We're hiding blood all the time anyway. Because of our periods. Second of all, no one suspects us. Who? Me? I'm too busy doing my makeup and being confused by math to do a murder. Can we just make it look like a cute little accident, and then we plan a gorgeous wake, and then we move on with our lives, and we look fabulous doing it? Okay then, Caitlin, so if women are doing all these murders, where are all these missing dead men?
Mm-hmm.
You think they're missed? That's hilarious. They're not.
This is one of the...
Whoa. Well, she just put on my mind, man. It's starting to make me question, like, who gets away with it more, do you guys think? Man or woman when it comes to, I guess, things of that nature? She said women do it because they are more smarter and not trying to get caught by doing things like that. That's something to think about, man. Something to leave your mind to ponder about.
The UK's oldest unsolved murders. In 1866, in Perthshire, Scotland, 55-year-old Janet Rogers was found dead. In March 1866, Janet Rogers came to her brother's house on Mount Stewart Farm. She was there to help her brother William while he looked for a new housemaid. 3 days later, Mr. Henderson found his sister dead on the floor of his farmhouse kitchen. She had been clubbed to death with an axe. The police put out a £100 reward to find the killer. That's almost £12,000 in today's currency. This worked at attracting publicity to the case, but it may have hindered police efforts as floods of reports came in. The police eventually charged the previous ploughman of the farm, James Crichton, with Mrs. Rogers' murder. However, after a 2-day trial, the jury returned with a verdict of not proven, which basically means there wasn't enough evidence. The murder had a lasting effect on Janet's brother William. Descending into insanity, he was committed to a mental asylum where he spent the rest of his days.
Crazy, man. The case affected them that much, man. That different people, man, they go through different experiences. It forever changes them. Look what happened at the end result. Really, like, it broke his mind. As I said, people don't know how much, like, another person's actions could affect a whole person's, like, trajectory of life. Something to think about, seekers. That's it for this video for you guys today, man. If you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit this like button, man. Subscribe, hit that post notification bell, man. Like I said, guys, we're growing our community of seekers, man. I truly believe we can go to something big, but I just need you guys' help. Just follow those 3 simple steps. Also, don't forget to follow me on my social medias down below, so we always stay connected as a community. Guys, can catch you in the next one, man. We're grinding. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing, man? If you guys are brand new to the channel, if you guys don't know what we do, let me tell you what we guys do. We break down the most scariest and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters who's tapping in with us, man. Watching the video entirely, hitting that post notification bell, most importantly, man, hitting that like button each and every single video I drop. You guys don't know how much you guys are helping out the channel just by doing those 3 simple steps. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth. We seek the truth out here, man. Nothing else.
Another time I had a friend of mine killed and I was very upset. And I asked this Vietnamese for his ID card, and he said, "Come Viet," and that means I don't understand in Vietnamese. And it just pissed me off, so I pulled out my knife and I killed him. And it didn't bother me at all. I just called in, I said, "One VC, kill him." And they said, "How do you know he's a VC?" And I said, "Because he's dead." And they laughed and said, "Okay," you know.
Dark time in history.
It was Nguyen Fong, right? And it happened in Vietnam. Because she always ate sushi, bro. So she goes to this one sushi restaurant that I guess she would usually go to eat at. I like sushi. Sushi's good? Yeah, I don't like sushi. She goes and she's eating this sushi, goes home like any other day. Yeah. And then she starts to notice that she started like getting like a rash and shit on her arm. Starts scratching it. It starts to like break out in hives on her whole body. And she had a husband, by the way, too. Her husband's kind of just sitting there supporting her throughout the whole thing, right? She's going to like this local pharmacy by her house, just buying a bunch of like, you know, medicine that she could just easily apply, stuff like that, right? Cream or but it's not working at all for her, right? It's so weird because one day her husband wakes up, she's in the bathroom looking at herself, she looks like an old ass woman, bro. Like, it looks like she went from 26 to like 70 years old. She looks like an old woman out of nowhere. Yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'll show you the picture if you want to see the picture.
Can I see a picture of her?
Yeah, I'm not.
Does she look crazy?
Dude.
Going from 20 to 70 years old in a couple of days is wild.
It is.
Whoa. Bro. Like she looks like a real old lady, bro. That is crazy.
A man was...
Hey, man. Secrets, are we gonna have to find that pic? Because I'm definitely gonna have to see that, man. Like I said, they eat some sushi. I'm not a avid, sushi eater, man. Tell me down below, man, Seekers, if any of you guys shot sushi. I never have, personally, but that I heard a story like that, man, it's aging you up? No.
Exploring an 11th century town.
What he found?
What he saw cannot be explained.
The dog like levitating or something? Oh no, it's different. Or is that an edit, man? Found all this in the 11th century temple? Nah, if this legit happened, man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm out that temple, bro. We ain't exploring no more, bro. We ain't Indiana Jones out here. Oh, this is in 4K too? You would think this would make like trending everywhere when it's dropped. Factor Cap, man. I'm gonna need that guy's help on this one. It's like they keep, like, are they testing? They keep opening it up to look at it and closing the door. Factor Cap on that clip, Seekers.
Rock apes are Bigfoot-like creatures that were reported throughout the Vietnam War by American GIs and the Viet Cong. These hominids would hurl rocks at nearby troops, hence the name rock apes. American GIs in the Vietnamese jungle told stories of encountering 6-foot-tall humanoid primates that would stalk and attack them before disappearing back into the night.
Rock apes, man? First time we're hearing about this. They were throwing it at them? Everywhere.
On Reddit, a Vietnam veteran told a story about a very creepy encounter he had during the Vietnam War. One of the toughest jobs during the war was going into the Viet Cong tunnels to kill the enemy. These tunnels were not only filled with enemy soldiers, but also booby traps. And these brave soldiers were known as tunnel rats. One day this tunnel rat, was crawling with his partner in the deepest tunnel he'd ever been in. And when they finally arrived to the end, they were surprised that there were no booby traps in this cave system, and that there was still an oil lamp lit in the last room. But there was nobody in there. But then they saw a tarp on the ground, and when they moved it, they saw stairs leading further down. But these stairs were very old. They couldn't have been built by the Viet Cong. So the two men with their pistols drawn proceeded to go down the stairs. And when they made it to the bottom, they saw about 10 Vietnamese people dressed in Viet Cong uniforms. But there was something not right about them. They had blank faces and were just staring into space. Their eyes were solid black, and they were just kind of rocking back and forth. The two men even waved their pistols and flashlights in their faces, but they just kept staring into the distance. Then they saw a bunch of weapons in the corner, but they were old and rusted. And at the end of the room, there was a golden icon of a lady, but instead of human legs, she had tentacles. Now these two men were really freaked out, and they believed that whoever these people were already dead. So they decided to rig the place with C4 and get the heck out of there as fast as they could. And while they were crawling back to the surface, they heard a woman's voice calling out to them. But they knew that whatever this was not human. Then once they finally got out of this tunnel, they told the other soldiers to get away because it was going to explode. But they didn't tell them about what they saw. And while they were waiting for the C4 to go off, they wondered who the heck was keeping those candles lit in that cave. And once the C4 went off, they felt a sigh of relief. And they didn't talk about this until many years later.
Is that a true story? We're going to have to follow up on that, man.
Way back like in the 1960s,
What they see.
Vietnam War, the American military, they invented like night vision goggles, but they had the red night vision goggles. It wasn't the green one like what we have today. So these new goggles were issued to like military troops. This whole thing took place like within 60 days from it being given to them, those guys, to them cutting the whole shit out because they said these people were they're freaking out. They're seeing weird shit now. And imagine now, like you're fighting war, right? But you have these goggles on at night, and then you're seeing things that looks like, like evil monsters, and you're like, hey, hold on, that doesn't look like a Vietnamese guy. That looks like a straight up, like a damn Jersey Devil and shit. Like this one guy was in a helicopter just shooting at Vietnamese people. They said, what are you shooting at? It's like, all these demons out here. He said he was spraying all these demon fire. was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, what are you shooting at?
What the hell? That wouldn't be the first time man we heard a story. Technology coming out way sooner than what it was supposed to, man. Infrared, night vision goggles, but it was red instead of green. What was they seeing? There was demons everywhere. The more you know,
Have
man.
you ever heard of the Vietnamese urban legend, the ghostly wedding? The legend of the ghostly wedding is a haunting Vietnamese tale that revolves around the wedding ceremony that takes place in the spirit realm. It is a story that combines elements of love, tragedy, and the supernatural. According to the legend, the ghostly wedding is said to occur in the realm of spirits or ghosts. It involves ghostly brides and grooms who are unable to find peace and move on due to unresolved love or unfinished business in their lives. These spirits come together to partake in a wedding ceremony, seeking closure and a chance to be united in eternal matrimony. The ghostly wedding is said to be a sorrowful and ethereal event. The ceremony takes place in a mythical setting, often described as a moonlit grove or an otherworldly landscape. Ghostly music, ethereal decorations, and shimmering lights set the stage for the solemn union. During the wedding, the ghostly brides and grooms exchange vows and profess their eternal love. It is said that their love is so strong that it transcends the boundaries between life and death. The ceremony is both a celebration of their love and a plea for redemption or release from their earthly attachments. Witnessing a ghostly wedding is believed to be a rare occurrence. Those who happen upon the event may experience a mixture of emotions, including awe, sadness, and a sense of ephemeral nature of existence. Some versions of the legend suggest that those who witness the ghostly wedding may be granted a glimpse into the realm of spirits and gain a deeper understanding of love, loss, and the mysteries of the afterlife. The legend of the ghostly wedding serves as a poignant reminder of the power of love and the longing for resolution in the realm of the supernatural. It reflects the belief that the bonds of love can transcend death and that some spirits remain tethered to the earthly realm until they find closure or fulfillment.
Ghostly wedding, man.
If you're afraid of snakes, you're probably not going to like this story. During the Vietnam War, a photographer riding on a helicopter claimed that while going over the jungles of Vietnam, he spotted a huge snake across a dirt road. The eyewitness described a 100-foot snake with a horse-like head with eyes 3 feet in diameter. He told the pilot to get closer, but the snake was preparing to attack. The helicopter left the area, but not before the photographer allegedly took various photos of the snake.
4K?
The helicopter came back later to see if the snake was still there, but there was no trace of it. Locals in the area call it the bull eater for its capability of swallowing cattle, and the photos the photographer took have since been considered lost media.
Lost media? Man, I wish we could see those pics. We're gonna do a deep dive on that one too, Seekers. I know I don't mess with snakes, man, but you've seen crazier things, man, so I kind of believe that there was a big ass snake.
The paranormal check here. Take a look at this video that's coming out of Vietnam. The villager initially thought he was recording and capturing monkeys climbing in his tree, but on closer inspection, they realized these beings are humanoid. Could this be their legendary rock ape? They have recordings and myths around the rock ape that's a humanoid monkey that go back to the beginning of their written record, also found on cave drawings. Could this be a rock ape? Or is this another phenomenon we have seen before, where children are lost in the jungle and they adapt to their surroundings or adopted by the wild animals and become wild animals themselves? Take a look and tell me what you think.
You definitely see something right there. That don't look like a hand. It's like a tail or something. Is he like trying to scare him off? Ooh. What do you guys think that was? Rock ape, humanoid creatures? We got some endless theories, man. We got some good clips we seen today.
Urban legend of the talking tree. The talking tree is a fascinating urban legend in Vietnamese folklore that revolves around the mystical tree with the ability to communicate with humans. According to the legend, the tree possesses supernatural powers and wisdom beyond ordinary comprehension. The talking tree is often depicted as an ancient and majestic tree, usually found in secluded or sacred locations such as deep within forests, on sacred grounds, or near temples. It is believed that the tree serves as a bridge between the human world and the spirit realm. According to the legend, individuals who approach the talking tree with genuine intentions and a pure heart may be granted the privilege of conversing with it. The tree is said to have a soothing and captivating voice, and it speaks in a language that the person can understand, regardless of their native tongue. The tree is said to possess immense knowledge about various aspects of life, including history, spirituality, and the secrets of the universe. It can offer guidance, advice, and even prophecies to those who seek its wisdom. Some legends mention that the tree has the power to grant wishes or provide solutions to complex problems. Encounters with the talking tree are often described as deeply spiritual experiences, with individuals feeling a sense of awe and reverence in its presence. People may visit the tree to ask for answers to important life questions, gain clarity, or simply to bask in its mystical aura.
In Vietnamese folklore, if a person isn't buried, then their soul may become a ghost, forced to wander the earth for eternity. In 1969, during the Vietnam War, this supernatural superstition became a reality, when a number of Viet Cong soldiers started to hear ghostly voices calling out to them in the jungle. They sounded a little something like this.
It's very creepy and eerie. Imagine within a jungle hearing that.
The troops would hear children crying for their fathers, men screaming in pain, and phrases like, "It's hell. I'm in hell. Don't end up like me." Alongside whispered encouragements for the soldiers to cut their own lives short. These sounds were absolutely horrifying. But here's the kicker. It turns out they were caused by GIs, not ghosts.
Whoa.
The voices were part of a real US military tactic called Operation Wandering Soul. The US employed South Vietnamese civilians to say these phrases on tape before playing them out loud on speakers placed in the jungle and on helicopters. The tapes were a form of psychological warfare, aiming to utilize local superstitions to persuade the Viet Cong patrols to flee or surrender out of fear. In some cases, this worked. However, more often than not, the Viet Cong soldiers would fire in the direction of the voices, hitting the soldiers and helicopters holding the speakers. Well, that backfired. Literally.
Man, they're using... That's a different type of torture.
Vietnamese urban legend of the Midnight Call. The Midnight Call is an urban legend that revolves around the mysterious phone call that occurs at midnight. It is said to be a supernatural phenomenon that can happen to unsuspecting individuals. According to the legend, at the stroke of midnight, a landline phone in a household will start ringing. The strange thing is that the phone call is not from any known person or even a recognizable phone number. Instead, it is believed to be a call from the spirit realm or an otherworldly entity. When the person answers the phone, they are greeted by a haunting voice on the other end. The voice may sound distant, eerie, or distorted. It delivers a cryptic message or a prophecy about the person's future. The contents of the message can vary widely, ranging from foretelling an upcoming event, warning about impending danger, or revealing secrets that were never known before. The caller may provide specific details or use symbolic language, making the message open to interpretation. The prophecy or message is often unsettling, leaving the person feeling uneasy or disturbed. Those who have experienced the midnight call report a mix of emotions, including fear, curiosity, and a sense of being connected to the supernatural. Some claim that the message they received during the call comes true in some form, leading to a series of strange occurrences or encounters following the call.
The midnight call. What do you guys think, man? You ain't picking up the phone off the midnight no more. Unless you know who it is, man. If it's unknown, decline, hang up. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true one seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys to follow me on my social media so we stay connected. Links in the description down below. Comment, man. Like I said, even if you guys just want to say hi, it just helps us boost us in the algorithm. So really appreciate the support. Also, don't forget to hit that like button. Very important, man, on each and every single video. Guys, we're growing. I see the growth we're making each and every single video, each and every single day. So just really want to thank you guys for supporting the Seekers, man. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to get better with each and every video, man. Out. Peace, YouTube.